Right. Let us take fifth problem first bit. Prove that there is a unique pair of consecutive odd positive integers consecutive consecutive odd positive integers such that the sum of their squares is 290. Sum of their squares is 290 and find it. We have to prove that there is only one unique pair exists of consecutive odd positive integers such that the sum of their squares is 290. So, and find. Now let us see the solution. Let the consecutive odd positive integers are x comma x plus 2 I am taking. So what he has given, sum of their squares is 290. That means sum of their squares x square plus x plus 2 whole square is equal to 290. X square plus x plus 2 whole square is equal to 290. Now let us solve this equation. So what we are going to get, x square plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 290, which implies 2x square plus 4x minus 286 is equal to 0. X square plus divide with 2, 2x minus 143 is equal to 0. What are the factors? 11 comma 13. X square plus 13x minus 11x minus 143 is equal to 0. X into x plus 13 minus 11 into x plus 13 is equal to 0. This implies x plus 13 into x minus 11 is equal to 0. Since x is equal to minus 13 is not possible, x is equal to 11 we have to consider. X is equal to 11 or x is equal to minus 13. But he has given that negative integers. So this implies x is equal to 11. Therefore, the odd positive integers are 11 comma 13. 11 comma 13. Right. Right. Let us go for the next problem. Right. Another problem. Sixth problem, first bit. The cost of piece of a cable wire is the cost of piece of a cable wire is 35 rupees. 35 rupees. 35 rupees. if the length of the piece of wire, if the length of piece of wire, the length of piece of wire is 4 meters more, is 4 meters more. The cost of piece of a cable wire is 35 rupees. If the length of piece of wire is 4 meters more and each meter costs 1 rupee less, each meter costs 1 rupee less, the cost would remain unchanged. The cost would remain unchanged, remains unchanged. Find the length of wire. Find the length of wire. That is the given problem here. Read the problem. The cost of piece of a cable wire is 35 rupees. If the length of piece of wire is 4 meters more and each meter costs 1 rupee less, the cost would remain unchanged. Find the length of wire. That is the given problem. This is sixth problem, first bit. Note on the problem fast. The cost of piece of a cable wire is 35 rupees. If the length of piece of wire is 4 meter more and each meter costs 1 rupee less, the cost would remains unchanged. Find the length of wire. Right? Okay. Now, let us go for the solution. What he has given? Cost of piece of a cable wire is 35 rupees. Let length of cable wire, length of cable wire, since we don't know, I am taking L meters. Given cost of wire, cost of wire is equal to 35 rupees. So which implies cost per 1 meter, cost per 1 meter is equal to, what you are going to get? Suppose 10 apples cost 50 rupees. Each apple costs 5 rupees. How will you get? 50 by 10. Similarly, if you go to the shop and if you buy a cloth, so suppose if you bought the cloth 10 meters for 50 rupees, then each meter costs 50 by 10. So 5 rupees. Like that, here also cost per 1 meter. Cost per 1 meter is L meters cost 35 rupees. 1 meter costs 35 by L rupees. 35 by L rupees. This is cost per 1 meter. Now what he is saying is, if the length of piece of wire is 4 meters more, so that means new parameters. Let us take new parameters. What he has given? If the length of piece of wire is 4 meters more. So now length of wire is equal to 4 meters. Actual length is L. So now new length will become L plus 4 meters. Now what is saying? And each meter costs 1 rupee less. Cost per 1 meter. Cost per 1 meter is equal to. So actual cost is 35 by L. Now what is saying? 1 rupee less. That means 35 by L minus 1. 35 by L minus 1 rupee. This is cost per 1 meter. Now, what is the total cost as per the new parameters? Total cost is equal to length into cost per 1 meter, isn't it? Well, because total cost is nothing but length of the wire is L plus 4 meters. Cost per 1 meter is 35 by L minus 1. That's why total cost will become length into cost per 1 meter. That is L plus 4 into 35 by L minus 1. But what is saying? the cost would remains unchanged. This is the important point you have to identify. The cost would remains unchanged. That means total cost does not changes. What is the total cost? 35 rupees. Now equate this to 35 rupees. What you are going to get? Let us see. This implies L plus 4 into 35 by L minus 1 is equal to 35 rupees. Now let us simplify this. What you are going to get? First multiply with L. L gets cancelled. You are going to get 35. L into minus 1 minus L plus 140 by L. 4 into 35. 140 by L minus 4 is equal to 35. So this implies minus L plus 140 by L. 35 minus 4 is nothing but 31. Otherwise cancel 35, 35. You are going to get here minus 4 is equal to 0. So take LCM. Minus L square minus 4L plus 140 is equal to 0, which implies L square plus 4L minus 140 is equal to 0. L square plus 14L minus 10L minus 140 is equal to 0, which can be written as L into L plus 14 minus 10 into L plus 14 is equal to 0, which implies L is equal to 10 meters. We are not taking minus 14. Why? Because length of the wire never be negative. So the final answer is 10 meters. So here once again, listen here. Length of the cable wire we are taking L meters. Given the cost of the wire is 35 rupees. From that I am calculating cost per 1 meter. Cost per 1 meter is nothing but total cost by length. Total length 35 by L rupees. Now according to the new parameters, what is changing is if the length of the piece of wire is 4 meters more, that means actual length is L. If it is 4 meters more, means new length will become L plus 4 meters, and cost of 1 meter, each 1 meter costs 1 rupee less. That means cost of 1 meter is less 1 rupee. That's why 35 by L minus 1 rupee. This is the new cost per meter. Now total cost will become length of the wire into cost per 1 meter, L plus 4 into 35 by L minus 1. So now what is saying, important point here is the cost would remains unchanged. That means total cost will not change. Total cost is 35 rupees only. That's why equate it to 35 rupees. L plus 4 into 35 by L minus 1 is equal to 35. This equation we have solved and we got the answer as 10 meters. Note down it. Right. Next problem. This is ninth problem, first bit. Ninth problem, first bit. Find the quadratic equation. Find the quadratic equation for which sum of the roots is 1. Sum of the roots is 1 and sum of squares of the roots is 13. Find the quadratic equation for which the sum of the roots is 1 and the sum of the squares of the roots is 13. Note down the problem. Find the quadratic equation for which sum of the roots is 1 and sum of squares of roots is 13. Right. Let us take the solution. Let alpha comma beta are the roots of required quadratic equation. Let alpha comma beta are the roots of required quadratic equation. Now what he has given sum of the roots alpha plus beta is equal to 1 and also sum of the squares of the roots alpha square plus beta square is equal to 13. I am taking these two equations of first equation and second equation. Alpha plus beta is equal to 1. alpha square plus beta square is equal to 13. Let us try to solve these two equations. Why? Because already we know the quadratic equation whose roots are alpha comma beta is nothing but x square minus x into sum of the roots plus product of the roots is equal to 0. What is the equation? X square minus x into sum of the roots plus product of the roots is equal to 0. X square minus x into alpha plus beta plus alpha beta is equal to 0. Now already we know alpha plus beta. We need to find alpha beta. Now from first equation, squaring on both sides, alpha square plus beta square plus 2 alpha beta is equal to 1. Now what is alpha square plus beta square from second equation? 13 plus 2 alpha beta is equal to 1. 2 alpha beta is equal to minus 12. Alpha beta is equal to minus 6. Now once we got alpha beta and alpha plus beta, so the quadratic equation, let us write the formula first. The quadratic equation whose roots are the quadratic equation whose roots are alpha comma beta is given by, what is the formula? X square minus x into alpha plus beta plus alpha beta is equal to 0. Use this formula. X square minus x into, what is sum of the roots on alpha plus beta? 1 plus what is alpha beta? Minus 6 is equal to 0. What is the equation you are going to get? X square minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. This is the required quadratic equation. If you find the roots of this equation, what you are going to get? 3 comma 2, isn't it? That means x plus x minus 3 into x plus 2, 3 comma minus 2. Roots are 3 comma minus 2. So what are the roots of this equation? 3 comma minus 2. Sum of the roots is 1 and sum of the squares 9 plus 4, 13. Satisfied. Note on this. Copy it fast, Nana. Right. Let us take the next concept. Nature of roots. Put side heading. Nature of roots. Nature of roots. Side heading, nature of roots. So without finding the roots, we can say the nature of roots by finding the value of the discriminant, that is b square minus 4ac. For the equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 if, for the equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, discriminant is equal to, we'll represent it with delta, is equal to b square minus 4ac. For the equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, from now onwards you have to remember the discriminant. What is meant by discriminant? It is denoted by delta and its value is given by b square minus 4ac. So the nature of the roots totally depend upon the value of b square minus 4ac, discriminant value. So that is the reason we are mentioning here b square minus 4ac. Just whenever he is asking the nature of the roots, if you calculate b square minus 4ac without finding the roots, you can say how the roots will be. In this we are having again two cases. First case, let us take, if a comma b comma c are real, if a comma b comma c are real numbers, that means coefficients, a b c are real numbers, then number 1, roots are real and distinct. Roots are real and distinct if delta greater than 0. If discriminant is greater than 0, then the roots are real and distinct. Number 2, roots are equal, real and equal, real and equal if delta is equal to 0. That means delta means discriminant. First you have to calculate b square minus 4ac. If b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, simply we can say that the roots are real and distinct. If b square minus 4ac is equal to 0 we got, then we can say that the roots are real and equal. Also we can say that each root is equal to minus b by 2a. Each equal to minus b by 2a. And third condition, roots are imaginary. Roots are imaginary. Roots are imaginary if delta is less than 0. So that means the roots are imaginary if they are the value of delta, that is b square minus 4ac is less than 0. B square, whenever we are finding the roots, we know that already b square minus 4ac will be under square root. That means under square root we are getting negative value. So the roots are, in this case we can say that roots are conjugate complex numbers. Conjugate complex numbers. Actually I told you already complex numbers you will get in the next chapter we are having. But I told you already a plus ib is called as the complex number. So it is a general form of the complex number. Whenever a plus ib is a complex number, its a conjugate complex number is a minus ib. Try to remember this. A plus ib and a minus ib are the conjugate complex numbers. So that means when you can say that they are conjugate complex numbers means actually definition you will get in complex number chapters. Even though once again I am giving the definition. Two complex numbers are said to be conjugate complex numbers if their sum and product are real numbers. If their sum and product are real numbers, then those two complex numbers are said to be conjugate complex numbers. Suppose if you find the sum of these two, plus ib minus ib gets cancelled, you are going to get 2a. 2a means it's real. Okay, so that is the reason whenever we are getting the roots are imaginary roots, that means if delta is less than 0, then we are going to get the roots as conjugate complex numbers. That means if a plus ib is one root, a minus ib is also another root. If a minus ib is the root, then a plus ib is also another root. So note on this. Let us take second case. If a comma b comma c are rational numbers, a comma b comma c are rational numbers, let us see what happens. A comma b comma c are rational numbers. Actually real numbers are two types, rational numbers and irrational numbers. So whenever we know that among real numbers, if a, b, c are rational numbers, then how the roots will be? Second case, if a, b, c are rational numbers, then first case is if delta greater than 0 and delta is a perfect square, delta greater than 0 and delta is a perfect square, b square minus 4ac is greater than 0 and it is a perfect square, then the roots are rational and distinct. Rational and distinct. If delta greater than 0 and delta is a perfect square, then the roots are rational and distinct. Second case, if delta greater than 0 and delta is not a perfect square, delta is not a perfect square, delta greater than 0 and delta is not a perfect square, then the roots are surds, conjugate surds, you can say, conjugate surds. Delta greater than 0 and delta is not a perfect square, then the roots are surd, that is conjugate surds, or you can say that the roots are irrational numbers. That means if 2 plus root 3 is a root, 2 minus root 3 is also a root of it. Or you can say irrational also, no problem. Anything you can use. Irrational or surds. Number 3, if delta is equal to 0, then the roots are equal. If delta is equal to 0, then the roots are equal and also rational. And each root is equal to minus b by number 4. If delta less than 0, then the roots are imaginary. That means again they are conjugate complex numbers.